Right, lads, you know the score. Imperial here with Imperial Bodybuilding. So we've got some massive news to talk about today, and I want to start off with the Arnold Classic in 2026. It looks like we're going to see Samson, Andrew, and Nick, a clash of the absolute titans, battling it out at the Arnold Classic. So listen, this is going to be rage bait because I'm going to give you my opinion who I think will win if they're at their absolute best. So let's get into it. We start off with an update with Nick Walker, and I will say this, he is looking absolutely crazy. He's not taking time off gear, which I said in my last video. Nick's going full blown next year, blitzkrieg, and he's going to the Arnold Classic to win. So let's look at Nick's latest update. So first thoughts on Nick Walker is, if there was an Instagram Mr. Olympia, then Nick Walker would win the title 10 times out of 10 because he looks absolutely incredible. Even if you don't like his physique, you have to appreciate the sheer density, the dryness, the conditioning. He looks insane. However, we've been down this road before. The last 16 weeks before the Olympia, guys, you know what I was talking about. He led me down a road to think that he was going to be Mr. Olympia, only to show up looking like a bag of shite. So I'm not going down that road this time. But look, even with the massive amount of filters on the pictures, you just have to admire the freak. And this is why I call him the abomination. Because there's no one as dense, there's no one as full at the Olympia. It's either Nick comes completely on, or he comes in looking like crap. That's it with Nick. There's no in-betweens. But guys, like, we are a couple of months out from the Arnold Classic. And Nick Walker, if he shows up like this, and it translates to the stage, then Andrew Jack's in trouble. That's all I've got to say. Because as good as Andrew Jack's structure is, he doesn't bring the freak factor that Nick does, and he certainly doesn't bring the density and the dryness that Nick does. And just for the record, Nick Walker has not come off gear in the past year. I'm not talking about TRT. Now just look at this stupid comment from one of my subscribers. It says, "You're embarrassing yourself. Nick is not on anything. Educate yourself." Guys, do not be like this person in life. Look, he probably thinks Bruce Jenner's a woman as well. So just don't delude yourself, okay? Nick Walker is not on TRT. Nick Walker has been on a full-blown... Nick Walker doesn't care about his health. Nick Walker is here to win titles. And look, whether it's stupidity or it's dangerous, you have to admire his resolve in his head, because he will not take no for an answer. And lads, you'd have to just look at the side chest. Do you really think that Andrew Jack beats Nick Walker in any of the side shots, in the most muscular, in any of the power shots? Nick Walker smokes Andrew Jack. And let me tell you, if Nick Walker turns up like he did at the Pittsburgh Pro, it's game over for Synthol Andrew Jack's arms. It just is. Because Andrew, as good as he is in certain poses, the abs and thighs, the front double, Nick has him on the power shots. And as a bodybuilder, Nick Walker is just superior. I'm sorry. And that's not me taking sides. That's just me being objective. The only person that can match Nick with the size and also bring the structure, which Nick doesn't have, is Samson. And Samson is sitting at 334 pounds. This early in off-season, Samson, I'm guessing he can go to 350, even 360. Do you really think that Andrew Jack, if he shows up at 290, beats Samson Dauda at 320 pounds at the Olympia or even at the Arnold at this size? Do you really think that? Wow. Then we need to be having talks, because if Samson shows up with this size, bigger, 10 to 15 pounds heavier, then it's lights out for anyone at the Olympia or the Arnold. Now, I'm not going to sit here and disrespect the fans, because some of you know what you're talking about. You actually know bodybuilding metric. But some of you haven't got a jar, meaning you haven't got an idea about the metrics of bodybuilding. Let's see what Fawad Obiad said about Samson.
Just when I look at it, he's pissed. And he's like, okay, if you guys want size, I'm going to give you size. And we're probably going to see the biggest Samson Dauda that we've ever seen. That's just my opinion from seeing his posts. That's not from him telling me. If he comes back bigger than last time, and even close to the shape he was in 24, that's a tough guy to beat. That's a tough guy to beat. And I think if you ask any bodybuilding analyst, Samson at his best is still the guy to beat.
So lads, as Fawad said, You know, if Samson turns up 320, 330 pounds, it's game over. In fact, do you remember at the 24 Olympia when Samson, he showed up at the athletes meeting and people are looking at Samson when he took his shirt off and Samson's like, come on, I'm ready, let's have it now. And people are looking at him, Haddy, look at Samson. And Derek, Samson, look at him. He's funny, that's cute, isn't it? The big black dude, Samson. Well, you weren't laughing when you got fucking smoked at the Olympia in 24 when Samson absolutely dominated the competition. And look, if Samson shows up with the structure and the size, nobody else comes close. Mark my words now. So let's see what happens. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But 9 times out of 10, as Farwood said, Samson's angry and he means business for 26. And guys, look, just for the record, I'm not saying that Andrew Jack isn't great. He's got the best structure at the Olympia in the IFBB at the moment, but he's not without flaws. You look at the quads, they're very shallow. The delts are infused with grade A Iranian oil. His delts are the same shape from the rear. His delts are the same shape as Hadi Chopin, and we all know Hadi uses synthol. Phil Heath's delts, Ronnie Coleman's delts were not shaped like this. This is an abnormal shape. But again, going from behind, he's very good. Does he come in as dry or dense, as crisp as Nick Walker? No. So my only point is, you know, you get a lot of dick riders saying that Andrew Jack is the next Mr. Olympia. Andrew Jack is still very beatable. Because he's very tall, he's over 6 foot, he just doesn't fill his frame out. I've always said that the perfect bodybuilding physique is between 5'8" and 5'11". But that's not to say that Andrew does not have a chance. He also doesn't have any side shots, which you don't even see him hit here because he knows they lack. So he's going to be exposed in a lot of body parts, but he does have pluses as well. But let me know in the comment section below, out of Andrew, Nick and Samson, who is your favourite to win the Olympia or even the Arnold Classic? Right, lads, next up I want to talk about CBUM for a second. Chris Bumstead, your former Classic Physique champion. Now look, I think it's fair to say that CBUM's still looking insane at 30 years old. If Chris Bumstead was to come back with half a leg missing, he would still win the Classic Physique Olympia because he's that good. I mean, here he's probably on TRT plus, let's just say a high dose of TRT. He's probably not on much more. But if he was to come back and really turn it up, I don't think he'll come back in 2026. But I did say in one of my previous videos that he will come back. And I am sure, you know, he has the lucrative sponsorship now with Gymshark. And I just think that it would look good for the brand. And not only that, but CBUM is a true competitor. He loves the sport and he can't keep away from competing. He must look at Raymondino and think, you know, I used to eat people like you for breakfast. And if Chris was to come back, he is the modern day Arnold Schwarzenegger. Not in just terms of physique, but also charisma as well. And I think bodybuilding is missing the greatest classic men's physique of all time. But let me know what you think. If Chris was to come back, would it be an easy victory, or would he struggle with the likes of Mike Sommerfeld and Raymondino? That's not a joke. That's a genuine question. Let me know in the comments, lads. But I just don't think it's a case of if, but rather when he comes back. I do think he'll come back in 27. So we shall see. And last but not least, we need to talk about Rafael Brandao. Rafael has taken some time off because he's had some stomach issues. And let me tell you now, I know all about stomach issues, having Crohn's disease myself. Look, when you've got pain in your stomach and you're trying to prep, especially on anabolics, like guys, it's not worth it. We've just seen the retirement of Carlos Thomas because of stomach issues. If you are unlucky enough to get Crohn's disease, pancreatitis, or some other inflammation on the gut, it's game over. But in Rafael's case, look, he's battled through. He seems like he's come back and he's looking great. And this is just a physique that you look back at over the last 10 years as a pro and you just think, look, even if he doesn't place top 6, this is one of the physiques that just sings grace. He's got those graceful quads, that upper body that's just smooth and sleek. But he's a mass monster as well. So I don't know which show he hasn't announced yet, but this is a physique that needs to be in the pros in 2026. But let me know what you think. Can Raphael really crack the top 6 if he really pushes it? But I do think, like, sometimes you just need to hang your boots up, especially if you've got a serious condition. We look at Dallas McCarver, Cedric McMillan, people that really push, the body to the limits. Sometimes for me, it's just not worth it, and there are more important things than bodybuilding in life. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. Lads, if you liked the video, please leave me a like, a comment and a subscribe, and I will see you, my friends, in the next video.